And now I'm going to read some love quotes on twin flames and soulmate relationships. What greater thing is there for two human souls than to feel that they're joined for life? They are there to strengthen each other and to be at one with each other in silent, unspeakable memories, by George Eliot. Whatever relationships you have attracted in your life at this moment are precisely the ones you need in your life at this moment. There is a hidden meaning behind all events, and this hidden meaning is serving your own evolution, by Deepak Chopra. He shall never know how I love him, and that not because he's handsome, Nelly, but because he's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same, by Emily Bronte. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. The greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved for ourselves, or rather loved in spite of ourselves. Victor Hugo. Do you want me to tell you something really subversive? Love is everything it's cracked up to be. That's why people are so cynical about it. It really is worth fighting for, being brave for, risking everything for. And the trouble is, if you don't risk anything, you risk even more. Erica Jong. There is sacredness in tears. They're not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love. Washington Irving. If you have to think about whether you love someone or not, then the answer is no. When you love someone, you just know. Janice Markowitz. Oh, the comfort, the inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person, having neither to weigh thoughts nor measure words, but pouring them all right out, just as they are, chaff and grain together, certain that a faithful hand will take and sift them. Keep what is worth keeping, and then with the breath of kindness blow the rest away. Dinah Kroc. If you want to attract a life partner as your soulmate, there are several illusions you will need to relinquish. One is that your soulmate is someone you'll be with for the rest of your life. You can have a soulmate relationship that lasts a few weeks, months, or years. Time has nothing to do with the quality of your connection and its importance in your life. Samaya Roman. A soulmate is someone whose way of viewing life is not necessarily the same as yours, but complements yours, so that there's not a compromise. There is a complement. Paul Robert. When feelings of abandonment and betrayal arise with a soulmate, they do not last. Once soulmates achieve an ultimate level of symbiosis and serenity with each other, it remains forever. Linda Brady. Rather than being about excitement and lust, a soulmate relationship is characterized by such things as a shared life path, a sense of comfort and ease, and a genuine liking of each other. Catherine Woodard Thomas. You open always petal by petal, myself, as spring opens, touching skillfully, mysteriously, her first rose. E. Cummings. The universal law of attraction states that we draw to us those people, events, and circumstances that match our inner state of being. In other words, we attract experiences that are consistent with our beliefs. If we believe that there's plenty of love in the world and we are worthy of giving and receiving that love, we will attract a different quality of relationships than someone who believes in scarcity or feels unworthy of happiness. If we believe the world is a loving and friendly place, then most of the time that will be our experience. If we believe the world is a chaotic, stressful, and fearful place, then eventually that will become our reality. So believing and knowing that your soulmate is out there is a critical first step in the formula for manifesting him or her into your life. Ariel Ford. Our soul tries to direct us to individuals who share our purpose in life, complement our strengths, and supplement our weaknesses. But there is no guarantee that these ideal mates are going to look the way we expect or be of our own background. Caroline Miller. A soulmate represents a karmic relationship that we have resolved, a deep conflict that has been settled, an obligation that has been fulfilled, and love that has replaced fear and anger. Linda Brady. In any soulmate relationship, you will need to let go of the illusion that there's a perfect person waiting for you who will fulfill your every expectation and give your personality everything it desires once you're together. Do not expect your ideal soulmate to be someone who is always loving and easy to get along with, who agrees with everything you say or do, who brings you a life of ease and comfort. Sanaya Roman. A soulmate is an ongoing connection with another individual that the soul picks up again in various times and places over lifetimes. We are attracted to another person at a soul level, not because that person is our unique complement, but because by being with that individual, we are somehow provided with an impetus to become whole ourselves. Edgar Cayce. I have found the one with whom my soul loves. This is my beloved, and this is my friend. Song of Solomon. Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Scott Peck. I love you, not only for what you are, but for what I am when I am with you. I love you not only for what you have made of yourself, but for what you are making of me. I love you for the part of me that you bring out. That is so beautiful. Roy Croft. The most wonderful of all things in life, I believe, is the discovery of another human being with whom one's relationship has a glowing depth, beauty, and joy as the years increase. This inner progressiveness of love between two human beings is a most marvelous thing. It cannot be found by looking for it or by passionately wishing for it. It is a sort of divine accident. Sir Hugh Walpole. You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams. Dr. Seuss. A soulmate is the one person whose love is powerful enough to motivate you to meet your soul, to do the emotional work of self-discovery, of awakening. Kenny Loggins. Our soulmates seldom appeal to our personality or our ego. That's why they're called soulmates rather than egomates. Caroline Miller. From every human being, there rises a light that reaches straight to heaven. And when two souls that are destined to be together find each other, their streams of light flow together, and a single brighter light goes forth from their united being. Anonymous. Be with me always. Take any form. Drive me mad. Only do not leave me in this abyss where I cannot find you. Oh God, it is unutterable. I cannot live without my life. I cannot live without my soul. Emily Bronte. It is March 17, 2015, 6:21 a.m. I'm going to go back to reading. I call it the story of Nefertiti and Akhenaten, which was written, it's titled Nefertiti Was Here, by Jasmina Tesanovic. You have no idea what it's like to read about yourself and how it all matches up to who you are. She writes it like a love story, but at the same time, it's like a tragedy. And at the same time, it digs down deep, really deep now, into that Amarna period and what took place. And it's interesting that the first half of the book I already read out to you as far as Nefertiti and Akhenaten, and then I didn't know I wasn't even going to go into the second half of the book because I thought I was just going to go to the first half. But you see, God is always on purpose, because what made me dig even deeper, of course, is the eye infection. There was something more to me to look at myself, which I'm so happy that whatever continues to rise to do with Nefertiti, that it's in abundance now. And even Akhenaten, the thing is still going on in Egypt up until the 21st of March, which is by this Saturday. How I would have loved to have been there. How nice it would have been if Akhenaten was fully awakened in a way, and that we were together in a way to go there and see what would, But I feel there's more to come. I truly feel that there is more to come, because it's no coincidence that so much information is coming up to do with Nefertiti. It's like as if she's more alive than all the other queens that are being discussed, in a sense, because she's more popularly discussed. And everything points to the same similar thing being said, is that there's something mysterious going on here. It's a mystery. It's a mystery to what happened to her. It's a mystery to what took place in that time frame. Did she leave him? Was she killed? Did he throw her out? Stuff like that. Well, the funny thing is no one that mentioned or said anything about anyone betraying as far as Nefertiti and Akhenaten. I don't feel that took place. But I know definitely there was betrayal with those who she trusted and worked with her, siblings, friends. That I can say. I felt like as if everything was wonderful up until a certain point, and then things started to fall apart. That I feel is true. And the way that Jasmina Tesanovic writes this story and have everything illustrated, it's like I tune into her and it makes me feel like as if she channeled in most of the information. Besides researching, she sensed the energies, and I can tell you everything that I read about what she wrote about Nefertiti and Akhenaten in that time period. It just rang so true to me, because it not only describes my personality, it describes my thoughts, how I am now. It's extremely uncanny. Also, the way she dives into the thought process of what would have been said is exactly what I feel. It resonates with me. It's only like a few minor things that didn't, very minor. But otherwise, I can tell you she's just straight on point with delivering the story. And you see, she delivers the story as if you're watching a play or a movie, but more like a play, because the energy of the poetry and what's being said, all of that is depicted in the story. So I'm about to read it to you, and I would break it down. I'm breaking it down to like it's 6 different parts, because it's like towards the ending of this book, which I did find on the internet. And I am so thankful for her writing it, because it definitely clarified and validated what I was sensing yesterday and the day before to do with my eye infection. That's what, because I was like, in my thought process, I was like, oh, okay, I got whatever I need to get out of the book for what I discussed before. But nope, Spirit has it that this was written so that way when I was going to come to this point with doing this book, that I'm validating and clarifying everything together to do with this twin flame relationship, our relationship that we have with each other, our purposes for here, and how we're diving in and to come back up again and to reminding and rewinding and remembering ourselves. So this was very helpful for me in more ways than one. So what I'm about to read to you is what was, I would say, it gives a synopsis of what takes place, just like when you're watching the beginning of a movie and the family is prosperous and everything's going well, and exactly what was going on as far as their relationship and how they led their life and how they were feeling about their life. That's what I'm about to read to you. Women transgressed in order to live, and since men could not abide by their own rules, they had to close their eyes. Sometimes in a spasm against lies and transgressions, closed eyes would open widely. Thus gods would become artists. Lost somewhere between poetry, hallucinations, fits, and strange sickness, the young prince's body was transforming year by year. His piping voice was womanly, his hips grew soft and thick, his cheeks and chest were hairless. But unlike a woman, he had no desire for men. The changes afflicting his flesh never seemed to alarm Akhenaten. Being God, he admired himself and examined every change keenly, first confiding his medical privacies to his mother, then studying them alone and finally reveling in them with Nefertiti. After some years of marriage, they started to look alike. He imitated her and she imitated him. He ordered the palace sculptors to represent them as equals in status and beauty. After the girls came one by one, the 6 girls were also portrayed in a row of equal size. Thus Akhenaten controlled his warping body by becoming all of them at once, protected by love of the family, one corporal body of royal love. In the artistic representations, the family hugged, touched, smiled, held hands, showed intimate parts of their body and beautiful objects of grooming and bathing. This incessant modeling, the Amarna beauty cult, smacked of superficial vanity. It might have wasted royal time and energy better devoted to waging wars and punishing court conspiracies. But the common people rejoiced in it and adored the glamorous, languorous royal family. They were as blatant in their bodily needs as any commoner, yet they were royal and unique beings, publicly exalted in aristocrat blood, in goods, gifts, and power. Those common souls worked hard to survive, and yet they still dreamed fondly of pleasure and leisure, of lingering kisses in a day of rest. When the fields flooded well and were properly worked, Egypt was abundantly rich. If hunger abated and plague stayed at bay, the peasants were mostly happy about their fates. It was not their business to fret about borders or warfare, to imagine any dangers to the ancient status quo of state and temple. But wars were waged vigorously in times of abundance, carried out by generals who scorned commerce and the muddy production of crops. The wealth brought by peace and order encouraged the bordering, smaller kingdoms ever ready to fall on peace and reduce it like a cloud of locusts. Then Akhenaten as a ruler refused the gods of his ancestors. Those too many gods were their senselessly demanding minor cults. Those too many ancestors were the too many graves and tiresome rituals. Oneness, simplicity, truth. Instantly he created an oasis on the brink of an abyss. The single line on which he played was blessed by a lonely god of sunlight. But it was a very thin and wavering line. Only very skilled players as he and Nefertiti could survive such a political gamble. But no one survived forever. The state of affairs after his own death that he didn't know, or even if he did suspect it, then he didn't care. And that was the choice he had made on deciding to marry Nefertiti and to make a new world come true. Neither of them had cared for how long it might last. They both wanted something new to happen during their own lifespans, never minding the awesome aftermath of immortality. When she gave birth to her first daughter, Nefertiti learned what pain was all about. As an unexpected consequence, she also learned the nature of power. The court had expected a boy as a heir to their new kingdom. Even Nefertiti wanted a boy, because that desire was expected from her. It was easier to rule with the prince and heir at one side. But once the tiny creature was born, the young royal couple didn't mind the disappointment. Nefertiti even felt relieved not to be the mother of a prince, always the focus of plots and discontents, while Akhenaten felt simply happy. Nefertiti was afraid of her own feelings after the birth. She felt so rich with her baby girl in her arms, yet also irrationally frightened that somebody might take the infant away from her, stealing the future and making their empire fall. Superstitious thoughts, sudden and unexpected, swarmed in her head. Were she and her husband both so feminine that no prince could be born into their marriage? Was she a woman who could only give birth to women? It certainly was a sign of divine will. When 5 of the girls then came into being, small, pretty, and healthy, they were as pearls, as rare diamonds to be set in a crown. The couple thus decided to create a feminine crown among the cities of Egypt, to build a huge garden for a fertile solar dynasty, to make a city freed from history where every step of the newfound streets would be a labyrinth of life, not of death. Such was Amarna, a huge royal palace for an extended family bursting with feminine life. Beauty was the guided image of this royal oasis. Everything in it was to be necessary yet beautiful. The waters, the gardens, the alleys, the homes were built on interior principles, all part of a huge divine unity. Every particle of the whole should be perfect. The perfume bottles, the makeup kits, the plates, the brooms, the cups. All the details built up into a whole, each particle resembling the whole, as grains of desert made up the desert itself. And the whole had its own void, a central plaza for fantasies, a fata morgana in public display to everyone who dared to dream and plan. All those privileged to live within Amarna, this queendom without visible walls, displayed their own dreams of a better world. Music and dance and wine and beer and perfumes and love-making flourished. Weapons fights were banned. Even rough movements and rough voices could cost an offender his life. Akhenaten believed that those who damaged Amarna's ideal beauty and peace should be annihilated. Absolute accomplishments cannot be befouled by compromises. Even the wisest courtiers and best-bred aristocrats feared such exclusiveness. Many fled Amarna, then timorously gathered at the borders of the flowery city, building a shabby outer wall to house those misfits who had become refugees in their own country. The refugees did not criticize Amarna's perfection. They did not dare to speak out for many years. Their raucous, vulgar voices could not reach the absolute pitch of the flute. And I'm just gonna briefly talk about what I read, because you see, the same way how she depicts it in the story, I said that I'm just not interested, and I don't like, people who are miserable and dealing with the negative stuff, and people who are doomsday, and all these things. And I can understand how Akhenaten and I wanted to represent a world where it's just always joyful, always happiness, always entertainment, the perfumes, the oils. How ironic that he gets his bath stuff from Walmart, just like I do. The baths and the oils and the incenses, it's the same thing. It's who I am. It shows how much I've been just me all the time, still living as me and living within my own royalty, not even realizing that I came from royalty. And how interesting how it was spoken of to do with the lovemaking. I said the highest level of joy is lovemaking. So, and when we're staying within that frequency of lovemaking, therefore you shall have joy. And the frequency remains higher. You see? And this is what was depicted. And he was so determined that he did not want anything negative to stay in the midst of how wonderful it was to live with that type of joy. Constantly, daily, every day. I mean, what a bliss that is. And they didn't fear or think about how long it was going to last. All they focused on was the now. That everything was happening in the now moment. And because they were feeling within themselves of this joy and happiness, it came through into their reality the same way. Their children came up beautiful. Everything was beautiful. Everything was wonderful. All the time. And see, Akhenaten did not treat her as if she was less than him just because she was female. He said they were equal. It's so funny and ironic, because when I look at the picture of myself and Ivan that we took together back in June, I even said, oh, we look like brothers and sisters. Now, it's interesting that even though we were not physically with each other to start looking like each other, because I've heard of cases of couples that they're together for so long that they look like each other. But here's what Spirit is saying. You have been together for a long time. All the time. We are always connected. We have always been connected. So it's not about the flesh and whether I was physically in his presence. The fact is that we continue to look like each other, act like each other. Everything has been parallel to who we are, even then in that lifetime and now. So see, even with reading the story, it's depicted the same way. The same exact way. So now I'm going to go into a story, the same book. And this depicts as if Nefertiti is expressing her feelings. And it's ironic that it has to do with her eyes. Yes. My life has become physical pain. I touch the ugly sore on my eyeball, and the jolt of pain reawakens me to my sacred duties. As long as the wound still hurts my mortal flesh, then I will know that my duty is still to live on, to act with responsibility and dignity, because I am still a queen. Goddess. A deposed one, yes, and an erased one, but not even death can touch me now. My beautiful body is going away, and when I finger the swollen pain of my blind eye, the lid blinks less and less, but although the blind now, I can remember sight. I can even see the past and future. My thoughts have become my eyesight. They are not too keen, and sometimes they are peculiar, fragmented, contradictory. But my unitary blindness knits a pattern. Thus I do see and reason. My seeing, reasoning, and thinking is all of one piece, and the light is a ray of sun, a sun that shines only for me. I follow it like a sunflower, twisting my body, changing my axis, my balance. People made of glass will shatter once they fall, and those made of sunlight can never fall nor shatter. It is a matter of faith. The faith of the first is frail and flawed, too many elements, too many gods shredding the sun. The second faith is one and only, powerful and indivisible, one God in me, me in one God. I am a queen and a goddess. My blindness is my mirror. People who stare at me are stunned with fear that I know how to see them. The eye of a blind queen shatters their protection. They fear my anointed beauty and its heretic transformation. Looking at me, they see the blight to their lives. A beautiful world has fallen, gone, but Nefertiti is here, was there, the one and only principle of truth. What of the fates of the common souls, those whose faces were never in stone, marble, fine colors? Is their dust coarser than the dust of fallen gods? Since their deaths were never marked for by art and works of art, perhaps they are still alive. Is life the time before death, after death, or both? How would we mortals know the difference? Nefertiti lies still for her life mask, a death mask. Faint light touches the never-closing wounded eye. A painful wound, a pulpy sore, made even more painful by her own severe and regular touching of it. She lies on the sculptor's couch, immobile, as the hot wax of the mask is spread across her features. Not the first such mask, maybe not even her last. A queen's mask is fit to last for eternity, is the very witness of her being. Nefertiti was here. The mask cools and shrinks, perfecting itself to her face. Skilled hands pressure the material. Every detail must speak. A birthmark, a wrinkle, lines of troubles, open sores and scars. The artist will refine the details. He will join the details to a whole, that whole being who breathes shallowly through her stiffening mask. She lies on the couch as immobile as death, for it is a duty to the gods to behave as if one is timeless. If she could stop breathing forever at that moment, she would shed her material body. A painless moment of transition, like the small moment of eternity before falling asleep, to dream as God rules time. And as I discussed that portion again, once again, no coincidence. Here, describing the physical pain that she has in her eye, her eyeball, and the jolt of pain. And I told you that jolt of pain that I felt between yesterday and now, it was excruciating, painful pain, with nothing in my eye. I've put every eye drop, even sty, I put aloe gel in it, everything, and still the pain of the eye is what existed. So you see how much I have come and brought forth from that past lifetime between myself and Akhenaten, and how we're intertwined with each other, and the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions and what's coming forth. And how ironic that I never read this before. I didn't read this before until this evening when I was gathering up information, and I said, oh my God. Specifically speaking about the eyeball. Specifically speaking about how painful it is, which is how I described it. You heard me describe it. I did not find this before. I said, remember, I'm living in truth. The truth sets us free, set me free. So therefore, everything that this author has written was channeling. She channeled in the experience of what was going on with Nefertiti, and intertwined with information that she gathered up. She channeled all of this. So I thank her. I don't even know when she wrote this story. I'm sure I'm going to research to find out when she wrote this book that's posted online. So the next thing I'm going to read is 3 Common Lives. This is like a story that intertwines as how Nefertiti is with Akhenaten, and as us as women and men and women, and how the title is The Man Who Became a Woman. So before I even read it, because I didn't even read it completely, The Man Who Became a Woman, this has to do with, Akhenaten, Ivan, balancing out that female aspect. I guess he's been blocking, not bringing out his female aspect like he did as Akhenaten, because from what I read with Akhenaten, he was balanced out between his male-female aspect. That's why him and Nefertiti got along so perfectly well. She was balanced out with her female-male aspect. She was strong, she was powerful, she was committed, she was in her element, her joy, her lovemaking, everything, her beauty, the flowers, the gardens, the water, everything was flourishing. He was strong within himself because he knew that she was right there beside him. He didn't think about his deformities or ailments or anything of that, because as long as he knew she was there. But this time it was genuine love. So it wasn't because he was adorning her for her beauty and that's it. There was still more. So they had everything. They were in love. They were loved. They were being loved. They had beautiful children that were expressed from this love. They were living life to the fullest. Everything was well. The only thing that the negative, they had to guard, where they were, because there were envious people that were just, they're not happy with how they're living, but they want to destroy what was working well. Typical mark of the beast, right? Typical. So anyway, I'm going to read it's like a short story poem, 3 Common Lives. The Man Who Became a Woman. He never really could make it out, that famous difference between men and women. Yes, it was obvious. Men were men and women were women. But what about it? Cats were cats, cars were cars, and nobody made a big deal out of it. Philosophers wrote books full of questions as to why cats were cats and cars were cars. Poets wrote verses speaking about cats as cars and cars as cats. Cars and cats lived together in the same world where boys grew up. When he was a kid, his mother used to tell him, it's hard to stay alive in a place like life. He never understood this sentence, but then he never really understood his mother either. How could this person be just one grown-up among all the others and yet also his one and only mother? And she had another big problem as far as his empathy was concerned. She came from another planet. She was an adult and a woman. Our man, still a small boy, as all men are at some period of their lives, dearly loved little girls. He was quite sure that they had nothing in common with himself. When he grew up into a slightly bigger boy, he began to despise little girls, and then the whole idea of girls in general. Time passed, he was a tall, strong youngster, and he fell madly in love with a girl of his own age. They made love. Instantly, he promised her his eternal love. He asked her to marry him, and she said yes, 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 3 times. They married very young. They had 3 children, and they lived happily ever after for the next 20 years. And then something happened. Or had it been happening all the time gradually? The man couldn't judge that. He only noticed in dismay that his young wife had grown into an unhappy, still beautiful, but aggressive and silent middle-aged woman. She refused to sleep with him, to talk to him, to support him. He loved her still, just as he always had. His love had not changed its steadfast character from its very first day, when he had made love to her and then asked her to marry him. Maybe he loved her more, for he had grown fond even of the bad sides of her character, and she had many, being a violent, unhappy, and unsuccessful person. Once she had been young and promising, with all the world and all its men beneath her feet, and yet she had chosen him. Now, after 20 years of their marriage, she has only him beneath her feet, but he is still madly in love with her. He's dependent on her, watches over her as if he were her lifeguard, guards her from her own bad temper and her mistaken moves in life and mind. What has happened? Why has she stopped loving him? Did she love some other man? Did she want a new life now that the children were older? The world has changed, and women and men no longer unite for life. Oh yes, so maybe he was an old-fashioned and romantic guy, like a character from a movie or a soap opera or a true Italian opera, and he persists in true romance. He loved his wife after 20 years of marriage, and after she stopped loving him, she decided to talk to him, to tell him. Tell him what? Well, lies. Anyway, she decided that they must talk. They bought a bottle of whiskey, even though she didn't drink, and they solemnly opened it. Yes, love, he said. Don't call me love, she said. Well, what shall I call you? He asked her. Don't call me anything, just listen to me for once. I have always listened to you. You think so, love? But you have only listened to your love. Don't be cruel. What's so wrong with my loving you all these years? The fact that you didn't notice that I stopped loving you. I don't mind that. I still love you. That is selfish. You ruined my life by loving me without caring for my love for you. I will always love you, whatever you feel. You woman killer, just stop it. Stop loving me and look at me. Let me go. Please let me go. You ruined my looks, my career. I became the object of your love, the thing that you love. Who could be anybody because you're a maniac who would love anybody who stayed with you as I did? Anybody. You don't see me. You don't need me. You just need your love. Stop it. The man started crying. Usually women do this first in arguments, but this man was different. He was a nice man whom his wife didn't love anymore. And then, after a bottle of whiskey and a cruel conversation lasting 2.5 hours, she simply hit the door and left him. Left his house with his car, kids, savings, his name and pride, everything they did together and made together. He let her go. He had no choice. He still loved her, and he had to let her go. Loving her, he didn't dare think of his future without her, or hers without him. He could not even hope that she might come back. He just sat back and started to think very slowly, as if unconsciously. What went wrong? The big question. Or was it all right? Somehow the way it had gone, the big answer sprang to his mind. Whatever happened should be recognized as the true state of affairs. So he loved that, and he accepted that as some kind of temporary answer. Then another development. The kids started bothering him, asking him for money, food, attention, being rude, not nice. Not as his kids had once been. Then he himself started growing bald, fat, and bad-tempered. Then something large and general went wrong in the part of the world in which he lived. People were a menace. They became unsafe, uneasy about their futures, about the sense of their life. The end of the century, middle-age crisis, loneliness, all and nothing. And then more events, almost preposterous ones. He lost his job through winning a lawsuit. He lost his sleep and appetite. But he became industrious. He lost all interest in his ex-wife, of whom he had no news whatsoever. 10 years have passed by in the meantime. The children have left home. They return only to beg favors or ridicule him. They have girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, in-laws, and children of their own. The children have become mediocre, noisy adults whom he loved for some reason he couldn't remember anymore, but whose presence was intolerable about after half an hour. He never entered a new relationship. Every such opportunity was a chance he chose to miss, or maybe there weren't chances, only chimeras. He rarely thinks of women anymore. His love and sexual life has come to an abrupt and violent end. The moment his beloved wife left him and he let her go. Why on earth did she stop loving him? After 10 years, an answer came to his gut, unglimpsed by any previous thought. When his wife had left him, it was because she was a dead woman. Dead just as he is now, a dead man. Why do women die so much earlier? Is it because they are women, or is it because men are happily married to them? Dead by now, as dead inside as his ex-wife. He decides to look her up. They meet politely in a cafe near their ex-house. They both have changed, and they remark on it after shaking hands without a blink, without a kiss. Both dead, both killed. She has grown calmer, he has grown sour. Two different people, once knowing each other intimately, not intimately knowing, a floating mirage. I don't love you anymore, he said immediately, to set her free forever. I know, I can feel, I felt it years ago, and I'm free, finally free. So how does it feel to be free? How does it feel not to love me anymore? Do you feel free? They both stayed silent, drinking coffees, no more whiskeys. They enjoyed their quiet afternoon, shook hands once again, and said goodbye, this time parting for good, heading towards a true physical death. Now they could tell the subtle difference between death and death and death. Or was death another step towards yet another death? Love is a strange variety of death, he thought, taking a shower immediately after their meeting, so as to rinse off her touch, her look from his body. I loved that woman more than myself for most of my life. Now I don't love her anymore, nor do I love any other woman. I don't even love myself. What has happened, he thought, not angrily, not sadly, simply seriously, as a scientist, as a thinker. As the faucet showered steaming water on him, he looked at his naked bulk, flushing because of the heat. It was a shapeless, huge, pulsating animal full of blood and tissues. He was a strange living creature, a creation of God or universe, a miracle. Once he was a man who loved a woman, then he became a man who didn't love a woman, then a man who didn't love himself. And now naked, skin-scalding, he's a woman who once wanted to be loved as a man. She has made a full circle of painful understanding now. She turns off the boiling shower water, finds a towel, and decides to start her life anew, based on this ridiculous moment, this comprehensive understanding of life and love. Of course, she will never be able to explain this event reasonably to anybody, not even to herself, but who cares? Is love something you can explain? Is life something anyone understands and is changing permanently from man to woman inside a shower stall? Something that anybody will ever think to ask about? It is definitely not, and that is some kind of guarantee, so far as her new life is concerned. The chisel. Would you betray me with me? She asked him. Does God exist? He countered. You have to give me an answer. Does love exist? People in love exist. Would you betray me with me? No, I would not. Why am I not attractive enough? Your thoughts are dangerous, he tells her firmly. Where is the chisel? She asks after a silent moment. I will give it back to you, he promises. When will you give it? I can't stand you when you take my things from me. Your things are always yours, while mine are ours. That was my chisel. And the baby? Part of the baby is mine, mine, mine. And the part of him that's mine is always mine, until I'm dead, and then he can be whatever he wants. But he is yours as well as mine in every moment. That is a problem. It's his problem. I will never give you back that chisel. It is our common chisel, and for now it happens to be with me. If you need it, then ask for it. What do you ever need a chisel for? It is me who is doing all the repairs. She made a few steps towards the door. Tears were already falling. She tripped headlong over the infant's toy. Her head crashes into the edge of the windowsill. Her forehead was badly cut, bleeding. Her eye was oozing, and her stricken face seemed to stare from another dimension. The bleeding cut mixing with tears. She sat heavily on the floor. The sun was falling on her. Her eyesight was blurred. She didn't clean the tears and blood which patterned on the floorboards. He was looking at her electrified, but he didn't want to intervene. She felt free now, although she did not flee to the door. She said, "That is my chisel, and if you do not give it to me immediately, I will take away the child from you." "I will call the doctor," he said. "No need, I can do everything by myself." Another commonplace remark, he said. She stood up alone, rising without his help. He felt abandoned, unloved. He watched as she cleaned her wound from water from the sink, trying to clear her blood-clotted hair, dabbing at the trail of blood down her blouse and over her breasts.
talk to me anymore when I come through the door at the end of the day. I remember when you couldn't wait to love me, used to hate to leave me. Now after loving me, let it now. Well, it's good for you, babe. You're feeling alright. Well, you just roll over and turn out the light, and you don't bring me flowers anymore. It used to be so natural to talk about forever, but used to be's don't count anymore. They just lay on the floor till we sweep them away. Baby, I remember all the things you taught me. I learned how to laugh and I learned how to cry. Well, I learned how to love and I learned how to lie. So you think I could learn how to tell you goodbye?
The Invisible Woman. At the age of 35, her life was all over. She had lost all interest in herself and her fate, and there was nothing more to be thought or said about it. The emptiness around her body and the mental poverty of her philosophy confirmed her strong belief that, besides the fact that many people should never be born at all, most others should die before a certain age. She was likely fortunate to have reached the grand age of 35. Although she was a childless, unattractive woman without a career, she had managed to reach a physical age when ancient, glamorous, mythic queens of Egypt had often been dead for years. Standing in front of the mirror examining her shabby face, my, she sighed, only emotions. So that is what is left behind when one's life is over, only emotions, packs and bags and sacks and boxes of uninformed, unformable, unbelievable and untruthful emotions. Well, I didn't have any children. I'm glad, lucky and happy I didn't, because otherwise they would have been the target of my greasy, sticky, formless sentimentality. She looked at her face more carefully in the mirror, an expensive, merciless mirror which showed her full figure, her every pore, her gray hairs and unpredictable shadows. In youth, the face had been silly and frightened, and romantic and foolish and ridiculous nearly all the time. She used to say to herself, if I were a man, I would never, but never ever fall for a woman like me. And men didn't fall for her. Those who did show some interest were clearly foolish and superficial, or calculating for some obscure and sinister reason. She spent her life with people, men and women, who didn't love, like, or respect her because she believed what they were thinking of her. Their opinions held water. Now that everything's over, now that my time has come, this stupidly living body in the mirror, it will torture me as a monument, as a tomb. In 1 second, an image flashes across the mirror. A man she had once rejected held a pistol against her temple. She waited eagerly for the gun to fire. Then the image, merely half remembered, disappeared. Perhaps the graceless body in the mirror will have the good sense to decay into earth and dust spontaneously together with her life. Yes, at the age of 35, in front of this mirror, instantly, at one merciful stroke, all over. Help me, somebody help. I'm so alone, and this face and body are traitors to my fears. They lie about me. Help. Somebody help me step out of this coffin, this mirror frame, this shameless exhibitionist picture to the world. Slowly tears came to her eyes. She crushed herself down to the floor and started crying, weeping after all these years of silence. Yes, she once aborted a baby. Her scorned lover has never returned to her. Her ungrateful sister has abandoned her. Her unremarkable parents have been dead for many years, and now she's poor and lonely. She wanted to cry most about her best friend, that woman who never phoned her after marrying a possessive idiot. If she had only kept her baby, then life would have been different. Not that she minded losing a baby, killing it or whatever, from any religious point of view, but wouldn't that at least have been a different lifestyle choice? No, that sounds promising, but it is not true, because you can only try one choice. You can only try one choice in life, and you never get to compare it to any other choices you made in other lives. One can lead only one life, and all speculations otherwise are forbidden. It was early March. Snow was falling, wind was blowing, and the woman had just celebrated alone inside herself at this very instant her 35th birthday. And now she rises for a final combat with the mirror. And look, there's a miracle from either fairy tales or certain psychoanalytical case histories. The mirror simply looked back at her, entirely empty. She stood up proudly and turned from left to right, spun around her heels. She was as translucent as a vampire. She felt great, invisibly great. Half alive, struggling to make one's inner spirit visible to the world. Another half alive, struggling to put the best face one can on a world that sees you for what you are and cruelly frames you to its own requirements. At the midlife instant of turning 35, she has achieved a mathematical balance. She has become a zero. Nefertiti knew that she had failed to earn immortality. She was not of the oldest royal blood, and she had failed to give sons to the dynasty. She never had a doubt that ashes would be her only testament, loose sand her only pyramid, obscurity her future. It was heavy but inevitable. Knowledge, a suspicion that grew steadily as she gave birth to her 6 daughters and became the most powerful and beautiful lady of the kingdom. As her glory ripened, she became keenly aware that it was a passing thing, ephemeral. Wisdom made her desperate. All these immortal gods around her and herself a mere shadow of a passing flesh, so much in power and yet so invisible. Perhaps art and artists could create lasting signs of her life. Nefertiti was there. Who could say that? Who could do that? Who could prove that? What reward would such a skill deserve? Without a public image, one never knows if one really is or if one is just imagining oneself to be. This world has no shortage of women, and even beautiful ones are just dust, sand in the dunes. Who among this swarm of priests and courtiers could capture her image in stone, stamp it on the fabric of reality, prove to the people and to herself that the beautiful one who comes had arrived for the ages, that Nefertiti really was there? Beck was the one to do it. Beck, with his heavy working hands and a dispassionate eye for proportion, that saw through both hate and love. His gaze on her was full of questions, but his hands on her had hardly any doubts. He knew the truth. His only challenge was how to reveal the truth without it being executed for doing it. He made her bust, a model for many others. He made it without completing her left eye, and then he said it was deliberately unfinished. The other sculptors of Amarna, those spreading images of the queen across the nation, knew how to make eyes and would not need a left eye. She knew, though, that he had learned something others did not know. The immortal queen goddess was losing her sight there. The perspective of the half-blind woman is heavily biased by simple truths, such as the right and left sides are not equal. People are not equal, and once you cannot see a thing, it does not exist. When they made love in the night's thickest darkness, no one saw their inequality. When he vanished from her bed before dawn, he had never been in it at all. When you burn your hand baking for your children, or you lose your eye trying to stab your lover, there is no story to tell beyond the scar. That place of love that now feels nothing, the scar tissue that lived too much to stay alive on the body. Instead, it becomes the deadened sign of a place where divinity once dwelled, the immortality of Nefertiti in her void, her royalty in her invisibility, and the divinity of Nefertiti in her flaws lies precisely in her missing eye. The world, not being a dream, denies us perfection. I did say that. Only the imperfect can enter this world and remain there. Nefertiti was one who came. Nefertiti was there. We know that, though the rest is mystery. Let us face the naked power of the cosmos with the ruthless truth. Whatever you do or say means nothing. Futility gives a terrible and desperate freedom. All women know of it, and the more they know, the better they rule. It is a desperate insight, barren, free of love and warmth. Mankind are mayflies in the eyes of the immortal gods. What does it matter if old parents bury young children, or if brother treacherously murders sister in the prime of her life? It is thus a good scheme to allow loved ones to escape harm through arranging your own murder. Nefertiti helped her husband and royal daughters by ceasing to exist, by forfeiting immortal life and choosing silence and invisibility. She knew that in her absence their triumphs will be called accidents, their relationships a sickness, their objects and arts ludicrous and blasphemous, an affront to the soul. But no soul is necessary if you do not have a body. If the heretic queen vanishes, there is no sacred body to embalm, wrap, and store in a pyramid. The pain, the thoughts may be there, but there is no flesh to register them. There were days when Nefertiti woke from dreamless sleep with very simple wishes, to be someone who comes from nowhere, has no name and no ideas. Those were days she missed her mother, a mysterious absence throughout her life, an unknown woman who surely would have loved her anyway, pretty or not. When she saw another woman pregnant, she imagined herself not as a mother-to-be, but as a fetus. For her, the world divided between people who had a mother and those who didn't. It was as strong as a division between the sick and the healthy, this abyss between the mothered and the motherless. Were the motherless also sickly somehow? It seemed to her that her strength was really the lack of an emotional weakness, that sentimental flaw where your mother lived within you, an attachment that might be desperate, a kind of navel, a wound. She felt herself as compact as a fireball or a star without a mother's wise or loving presence to mar her own action and thought. Her love was a wildness, an unbridled strength and power, because she came from nowhere and had no one. One's first love in youth might be wild, primordial, strong, but one would yield to experience to tainted loves that were poisonous, acidic, vicious. She loved the perfection of beautiful objects. She loved Akhenaten because despite his divine destiny, he secretly wrote verses doubting his own knowledge. He was considered crazy or sick, but he simply knew how to doubt with beauty, construct a beauty, live a beauty, and be beautiful. She was unsure of her birth date. Her late mother was the only one who knew it, and for unknown reasons, she had died without telling it to anybody. Nefertiti never adopted a date at random. She preferred to have them all and none, as unknowable as the date of one's death. There was no distinction then between time and myth. Kings might live forever in just one day, reorganizing history by starting new calendars from the years they assumed their kingships, and counting all previous years backward, stretching to the dawn of time. A reigning queen could be the linchpin of a people's history, the axis of the temporal universe, although she might be stabbed without warning, poisoned on her throne, or ravished away by invading foreigners. Sometimes the nights were long, dark, stale, feverish. Then the Hamsin would blow, a Hamsin wind arising, long and strong enough to change one's very fate. A weather change that was compulsive, violent, and out of control, like a change in royal regimes. During the storm hours, Nefertiti would drink wine after having drank beer all day to keep the heat from her nerves. But a drunken sleep lasted only a few hours, broken by haunting nightmares. A dream of plague covering her body in a wild rush. She dreamt recurrently of black spots turning into ulcers and bursting out from her right leg to her head. The dream was so vivid that only physical pain could assure her that she had managed to wake up. She would sweat and twist in her sleep, smelling her own body decaying in the grip of the pestilence. She had always been willing to accept death, but not a slow one. She struggled to speed through a night of ugly images, ghastly sounds, noxious reeks. She would wake up in a sticky, humid dawn, gaze with surprise on her intact body, and feel not even relief. She dreamed herself with bad spirits, and she felt good about it. It was preferable to the uneasiness of her mortal life, a period of middle age, shiftless, restless. Such a change from the dreams of her childhood that she was in skies. She was immortal, she was beautiful, she loved. But even then, a shadow of doom would always cloud her innocence. Oracles offered grim predictions that she would thrive only to perish utterly. Her children would leave no trace in the world. Twice the royal wine she chose to drink had been poisoned, and her dear small maidservants, the preparers and tasters of her food, were lying dead as cats at her feet. Once a huge attacker sought to drown her while she was swimming in the sea. He was a slave, and it was claimed that he, gone mad with love for her, his goddess whom he wanted to rape and possess. On those occasions, Nefertiti fell from hieratic peace and stability into a panic of attempted murder. Whilst in her dreams, she rose from nightmares back to a sense of mortal survival. This was no source of rejoicing for her, it was merely a balance. Possessed at night by powers beyond her will, she seized the hours of daylight to radiate power and glory. Her nightmares harbored specific fears, menacing, floating, untouchable. A ghost queen, a lost mother, a motherless mother. In her dreams, she longed to be embraced by this apparition and to know the truth. Had her mother been killed, executed, exiled beyond all return, or just hidden for her own sake, for the sake of the good name of a goddess queen? Rumors spread through the servant girls at court that such a lady had been somewhere mysteriously hidden, maybe even buried alive. A lady who gave birth illegitimately to the most beautiful woman in the kingdom. What girl, tempted to trespass, would do it gladly if she knew that her illicit love would give rise to a child who was a queen? Dreams of sudden and violent death, dreams so vivid and restless that they might be visions of the future. Her hair, young King Tutankhamun, with the back of his skull caved in with a single cunning blow. Or visions of the past, the great queen who ruled as a man, as a woman, abolishing gender differences in living and exercising life. Hatshepsut. And the next topic of this book is madly in love. A choice. I made the stupid, very stupid choice to love you and never let you go. I will let go myself, me, material and spiritual goods, called us, we. But I will never let you go. I made that choice voluntarily. Every morning it hurts and burns in my stomach. That choice. Later on during the day it gets better, very much so. Sometime in the afternoon, the pain turns into heat. Deep within the bones of my hips, now that hurts too. But it is fast and short. I stand up firmly, kick it out with a foot dance, and roll on as the night falls. The peak threatens. It always betrays my discipline, my choice. I start doubting and cursing and loving and drinking and forgetting as the night gets stronger and longer. Things get wilder and actually out of control. That is not pain, my beloved one, anymore. That is joy, pure joy. Exactly. Why I made this choice, but why did I? To tell the truth, there was no choice. I call it now mine. I call it now choice. Because it lives with me. It hurts, it burns, it glows without you, and soon it will glow even without me. Because you see, I'm leaving you, leaving me, but never leaving that choice. It is happening so soon. Remembrances of my old loves and times when love seemed possible yet never turned out so. Love without pain, without regret. Eros ruling even in my fear of a painful death? My life is changing without my will. Tomorrow I will find once again the timing, the formalities, the strength required to survive. Should death arrive, I will merely comment, sorry, it is happening so soon. Sorry, it is happening so soon. I'm afraid that's all I can say about death, and if I do say that, death will still happen. Emotions of boundless love and endless fear of dying, the two primal secrets of life, stilled in one instant by death itself. I am so fragile, so vulnerable, so disordered. I'm everywhere and nowhere. I am a queen, yet I belong to one who loves me, who picked me from the dirty earth and restored me to humanity. Do I have any right to hope? My love, I manipulated you with my sickness and weakness. Will you abuse me for it? I'm ready to be anything to you, your mistress, your queen, your servant, your invisible icon. May my survival set me free from any other duties but to serve you. Giving is greater than taking, and to share is to breathe the air of the gods. The rhythm of our conversation is the divine breath. I am you, I am your body. I need no body of my own. You may possess any body that pleases you. Take mine, take another that lies besides mine. Do without me at all. I will love those you love in the way you love them at the moment you're doing it. It may happen, however, that my heart will break. It will break with utter dedication, bursting into my tears of joy, wafting to the ear your breathing energy, dust to dust, ear to ear, love to the words, me to you, you to the gods. I cannot look at you, for your beauty shines as the sun. Your beauty burns my tender eyesight, yet I fear neither you nor the sun. If I suffer blindness, then my blind head will be graced with divine voices. My gaze falls on you like a beam of light, a light which only stronger light can dim. Be it so. May you as potent sunlight blind my searching eyes and burn away my troubled heart and mind as well, so long as I may love you forever. If you were free, even if you were free, even if you were near to me, even if you wanted me, I would have loved you in the same way, as if you were imprisoned far from me and scorning me, because that is my love, just drops of eternity, longing. Nefertiti and Beck. Whenever she wanted to tell him, I love you, an enormous fear of his death would overwhelm her so suddenly and strongly that the words dried in her mouth. She would hug him fiercely as if love meant nothing beside the fact of his life. Once in bed, once making love to him, she would feel the same fierce drive, but somehow the act of love-making eased it. It calmed the urge towards survival, even the fear of death. The more passionately they made love, the more she felt emptied of love afterwards and free of her fear of mortality. Eroticism was invented by those who cannot bear a keener passion. We cannot join our bodies all the time, but each of us is a body after all, and nothing can alter the fact that our date of birth comes immediately, countersigned by another date yet to come, the date of our death. And nothing, not even blind love, and love is always blind, can alter the fact that we are someday doomed to stop loving. So whenever she was panged by love for him, she just made love to him. But the loving words that he uttered to her, the poems he made for her, caused an anguish keener than the lash. Nefertiti had married an artist in order to be loved by words. He had married a beautiful woman who no longer cared for her beauty but only for his artistry, because he knew the word was God and not beauty and not decay. They both knew the truth and risked their lives in dark times ahead of those other times when doctrines and cities would be worshipped as gods, gods of topography, of the soul and inner and outer geography, invisible and material threads of the same unattainable element, the perfection of sensation and a form. Love had been given an image in her time, the image of a beautiful woman who comes, an image of herself. His song for the sun was a confession of love, and when the beautiful lady comes to him as his own lover, he cannot think of her body, her woman's body that will be consumed by him or by worms, never mind the difference. When he loved her, he had to imagine the sun, the eternal beauty of the eternal sun, and thus her body revealed to him in sunlight is not the mortal flesh of his beloved one. Their mutual faith in the word let them travel centuries ahead of their time. They didn't know this, though. They pretended to know all. They played the gods because that was the role they were given, the language assigned to them. They overthrew other gods in the name of one and only, and together they became gods greater yet in the name of the Son and the Word yet to come. When she wanted to cry out her love to him, she remained silent. She offered her body to him or to anybody else. It didn't really matter. She wanted him to live, and in order to live, their bodies had to protect them from the timelessness of words. Words can flow ahead of time, ahead of any speaker's intentions. When they spoke to each other, waiting for the sun to dawn, they found pleasures more intense than an embrace. They surrendered lovemaking for the pleasures of speech. He became part of her being throughout her words, and through his words she became even more herself. Is that what the deepest love between a man and a woman is about? That he should become a she and she a space for both? No conflict, thus no genders, no wars, just truth and beauty. A love letter. I miss you, my beloved. I miss you bodily, besides all the letters you gave me and that I keep safe from spies. This is like a wound, this aching need for you at certain moments. The void is so profound that the dwindling years of my life seem a wasteland. My past is extensive, but those were the years before I even ever met you. You smashed my continuity, deranged my future. You transformed me in one night, and now my past, that past life which once seemed my future too, is just a void. Rebuild my life? No time for that. I burned my bridges in the few hours that you were breaking me. I wonder about your life and efforts, far from me at court. You make great works of art there, works of God's made for eternity. I am there. You have a drug brewed from my blood. You are a man after all, for you sacrificed me to the gods. It was always women to be sacrificed to gods, or children. Best were young girls. I am not a girl. I know I'm not young. I'm said to be a beautiful queen in power, for people cherish me and I sense their fear. I can kill without blinking. I've killed without a cause for the pure pleasure of power. But you robbed the pleasure from my cruelty. You stole the beauty from my face. You put an end to my infinite power. As an immortal queen, I'm telling you honestly, I long to die so that your work of art may live. One of the three of us must surely die soon, or all three of us will lose everything: honor, treasure, kingdom, light, and life. I am pondering that choice. It has come as freely as water through every pore of our love for each other and for the rest of the world. It has to be a natural choice in an unnatural situation where love is trigamous and God is monogamous. I am become a traitor to my king, my God, my only son, my Aten. I love the third, the common, the man, his hands, his body, the other. But without your effort, my beauty could not exist, and if you cannot give me existence, I am not even a shadow. You made me live forever, and you may as well take my life any time. Why didn't you kill me already? Why do we three still persist? Is our empire falling apart? Not because of the plague and the troubles, but because I've joined my body to another body. A common man, yet the man whose hands make my images royal, timeless, and divine. Do we all three prefer art to life? Yes, that is our doom, my beloved, my king's son. That is our end. You prefer the bust to me. You prefer the image to the reality, the word to the sun. You recite in your dreams your poems of royal praise, and I dream of them without waking. You love his royal image more than you love my body. Your gaze and his make my body less real. You are making my body decay. My fertile body gave her life to this kingdom, and with her decline. The kingdom is stricken with plague. The king is growing sick with too many words and gazes for the objects of beauty his court artists create. Akhenaten is dying of love and beauty and sun sickness. He is fainting in front of your creations, your images of his own beauty. I cannot protect us anymore because you have made me like a common woman of the streets, a prey to artists, grasping hands and peering gaze. Beloved one, there is no such way out. There is no language for forbidden love. It is invisible. Sing me a death song to prove that you once loved me and my flesh. The insects are walking all over my corpse. Mosquitoes, ants, spiders, but nobody can see them. They're swarming and rushing and biting within my shroud, and it is itching. Therefore, I'm still alive. I have killed the demons in me. I drank wine. I drank my own tears as if drinking wine. I breathed the smoke of burning herbs. I anointed my body with perfumes, oils rubbed into me by the warm hands of men and women. I spoke no more of love with the words of love. My very thoughts stopped. Without such words, no truth, but also no lies. Through your art, you have me. When I close my eyes, I have not even myself. Tell me what happened between the two of us. Tell me that it happened at all. Tell me anything. You won't escape from my embrace because I still hold you within me. I am destroying your safety, your pleasure, these cushions on those which you lounge as a man who needs nobody but himself. But beloved one, there is no such way out. I have become the image you made of me. I am not myself anymore. My selfhood is wandering the city's shadows in ashes and lust, through other people's lives and dreams. My utter loss does not even make me unhappy, for I'm simply no more. It makes me poor only in my selfhood, like a beautiful empty vase, full of somebody else's knowledge. Are you longing to see me again, now that you have my cold statue in front of you, to measure the difference time has made in my fading charm for you? To make another such bust will be to make me grow old under your chisel, to kill me once again. Did you plan to be my murderer, my artist, or my true one? I long to see my own reflection in your eyes for just one day, to become your stone mirror. I love being within your hands. I want that now. I want it all now. I may die, but I want your body in mine, or your hands carving my flesh into stone. Oh, now that you have taken what you pleased from me? My God, aren't you ugly, nude, short, coarse, and dirty, stinking and smelling of male? I love that distorted angle of your back of a genus. I love the perfection of your mind in your ugly, ugly, distorted body. And you love my beauty because it is the mirror of your mind. But beauty does not come from any male mind thinking alone. You could not invent me, though you tried. Until I came, your proportions were false, too perfect for beauty. You needed that womanly strangeness, unpredictable perfection. I know the secret of art. I am art, and I shiver when I say I shiver. You kiss the spot at which I shiver. It is my secret. It is my belly. It is my maternity. It is my fertility. It is my tie to my mother, to my child. And I let you kiss that spot with your lips. Dip your tongue into my navel while I shivered. You sipped wine from that tiny cup within my belly. Through my shivers you tasted the energy of the world and life. And your hands tremble while you carve, but they know the shapes to make. They're guided by my flesh curving under your tongue. The image is still in you, intoxicating. I know everything about art. I am art. I do not enjoy art, yours or anybody's. I enjoy the act of creation and the tools such as you. My tool, I need you to live. Without you, I am dead, and you know it. Your distorted body is the image of your brain from inside, the creation in itself. The baby in the womb, the man yet to come on earth, the animal before the man, the creature, the monkey laughing at humankind, mocking the perfection created by the divine artist. Your sinless world created by God in a week's hard labor. Your gaze is that of your God, and I am the fresh made world and its humanity together. The animals, the seas, the rivers, the sun, the desert, the moon, the sand, sand, sand. The finest particles of sand, the sand, sand, atoms of sand. Shining, invisible, and true. Nefertiti will dance for you. I want to lie, I want to cheat, I want to destroy in order to create from the world as it is. This dream world as it should be, as it used to be in its womb before it was born. I will reflect it to you into your gaze through my belly, the end and the beginning of the world. Nefertiti will dance for you, her last belly dance, that of a dead queen yet to die. I am made of marble, my mermaid body is of finest white stone. It is hard and not living. It is a lie representing an inner truth of the world as it really is. It is a prayer for the world as it is. Look at it forever and you will be good. To the others, to your God, to your animals. People and animals, they both sleep on the floor. They sunbathe on the Nile, drink the same water, eat the same crops. They kill one another, they eat one another, they die one for another. They shit and replenish the earth. People and animals are kin, but they should never pretend they're equal. The greatest sin against the sun is to consider it one's equal. The elderly Queen Tai has established a harem. Like any dynast, she's desperate to see a son bred by the aging Akhenaten father or purported father of 6 daughters. With love and care, she selects girls that might please the impotent creature on the throne. There is one girl who accepts her anonymous and dangerous position with sweetness and good cheer. Her name has been changed to Nefertiti too. The prettiest girls in Tai's harem all envy the name of the queen and the names of Nefertiti's daughters as well, since the daughters kiss their father Akhenaten, wait upon him lovingly, and are said to sleep with him. A torrent of beautiful girls in Amarna. Nefertiti herself, the 5 surviving daughters of Nefertiti, the infant children of those daughters, their fathers being matters of mere speculation, and now Tai's harem of fertile concubines. The king is girlish too in so many ways, for he never hid his big breasts, heavy thighs, and round thick bottom. But he never took men in his bed, only girls, many girls. Akhenaten's mother Tai saw sense in recruiting the child Nef, for that bold and grim and elderly but still very powerful woman knew how to shelter the dark and wounded and to make the weak into her instruments of control. A woman knows that power comes from sexuality. A bad woman knows it's better than a good one, and that is why she can do much more with it than some chaste and pious woman, fooled and ruled by the language of male power. She may be a treasured princess exalted in his beautiful tower, but only if she gets to the damp basement of her own silence, the cramps, the pleasure and pain, the thudding in the blood? Will she be able to tell a man how he's going to live and for what purposes he should suffer and die? She need not be a visionary sacrificing her own desire to learn that about power. She simply does it and does it all the time, even when she does not know she's doing it. Tai knew these things well. She picked her harem women from the needful streets and put them in a place they considered safe. Those who failed to please Akhenaten might make pleasant gifts for ambitious courtiers. When the girls coupled with these men, they would bear children who were heirs of the street, but as keen of mind as those who sired them. The world was never born of gods, but of bleeding wombs. The wind raised the sand and the invisible grains swirled in rotating spirals, slashing the air into sunset colors. The light of God was fading. She found Akhenaten's eyes wide open as he slept. When the moon was full, they were both restless. On such nights, the Sun King would neither sleep nor wake. He would simply be. Sometimes he would whisper words and sounds nobody but Nefertiti could interpret. She was always by his bed when he was at his worst, while new small Nefertitis would sprinkle his feverish body with water, put bits of fruit in his mouth. When the full moon crossed the sky, they would pour small sips of beer between his lips to ease the lunar passage. It cooled him in summer. He was whispering his own verses, slowly and without making sense, no passion left, no melody. His most visionary utterances never made sense as they tumbled from his mouth. They required Nefertiti there to give them sense. God's beauty and truth always made one. He was whispering like the desert wind, his anointed head tossing on his pillow. Nefertiti felt his skin, then climbed into his bed. His maleness was erect, hot to the touch while his eyes were bloody and blasted. She spread her robe, spread her legs, and climbed his loose-limbed, swollen body. Without a word or a sound, their bodies were joined. His eyes woke and became intensively active. She shut her eyes, then she opened hers to find his peacefully closing. As the tides low and high, they exchanged an oceanic fluidity. They barely moved except for the shivering of their skins, and even that was nearly painful and required its own kind of soothing. His excitement was no longer distinguishable from his pain. The cosmos of pleasure within his eyes had grown dark and compact, the joyful pledge between their bodies fading with his broken health. But they had been divine lovers, a supreme couple, provoking and accepting gifts of supernatural bliss. 6 children from her body. There would be no more, and yet to turn to any other man or woman in a forlorn search for what they had once given each other, that was an evil joke. They knew it now, just as everyone else did. The final act, the necro-concubine. I'll never know how I attained this throne, in the slow waspness of harem politics, immured in cells yet with a deadly sting. A sultan's younger grubs are sacrificed once the favorite spreads his wings. Gathered in our sacks of surplus flesh, we're plashed into the Bosphorus. Silent, thorough, and only to be expected, yet through some plaguey mishap, some court jester's slip, a miscalculation, the sultan is me. I, the pale and scholarly, a bookworm haunter of manuscripts, who never donned a sword or sacked a city. I'm doomed to command this world. My janissaries harvest the planet, themselves the adult creatures of the Balkan tax of boys. They beat the sullen boundaries of empire, recruiting voluptuous women. Slow-eyed and teenaged as wild as dare, they are scrubbed and relentlessly disciplined, from village belle to jeweled object, in the vertrine that is Constantinople, with calicos, group baths, and endless grooming, inducted in a nunnery of captive nations. They sew not, neither do they spin. I study them as I might study elephants, placid denizens of pampered femininity. They never wave a flag or touch a coin. Their thumbs go unsustained by ink, and they care not one whit for doctrine. No wonder they bore one so. Immemorial, elegant, and gloomy, this marbled world entirely without questions, where one waits a patient lifetime for one's intimate enemy to attain the anticlimax of the garrote or the stiletto. There is, despite all odds, one concubine I've come to favor, the only creature in Topkapi unlikelier than me. You, the only woman who ever chose to come here. Why would you do such an unearthly thing? No one seems to know. You lack any obvious symptoms of madness. Your customary slippers skid on the blue inlaid tiles, a brocade vase and harem pants, a golden burst of hair. You pluck at the zither, then you peel an orange. Frankly, you look much like the rest of the great beauties. A little bolder and scruffier, maybe. I never saw anyone belly dance quite like that. That sudden tigress clashing of clacking castanets and brazen cymbals. It would likely become remarkable if anyone here ever noticed that you always vanish with the dawn. I built an invisible door just for you, and I gave you its secret key, but no one has ever seen you use it. Lean closer on the divine so I can whisper now. When the first dim rays lighten the turbans on the heads of the slumbering eunuchs, there's come to the jeweled lobe of my royal ear a departing chamois flutter of bats' wings, and on the pigeon-haunted is innocence of a minaret, or the lookout spire of some far canvassery. I can hear my blue-eyed darling baying at the moon. Farewell, Nefertiti. In the royal pyramid, not a tear, a slightly out-of-time reality, a goodbye, no divine rituals. The slaves are leaving, black, white, yellow. Nobody speaks a language I can understand. I'm losing my ears, my sight. I'm drifting slowly into another dimension, a world without you, but not the same world I knew before I came to you. Another qualitative leap, and this one may be the last. I know myself as sister, a sympathetic confidant and friend of the Sun Queen, the beautiful one who comes. We spoke of jewels and wine. We had a secret. I wonder, did you ever tell it to anybody? I did not. I kept it. And you know what? I'm keeping it also away from you. Because you bother not to remember it, now that you are leaving me and us all, I do not care about them. I do not care about your family, not even your daughters. I only care about you and me. And I wonder about that secret of ours. Are you taking it with you in silence, or should I mention it? I am here. I'm holding your hand, and I'm looking straight into your eyes. No trace of your secret. You do not want to speak to me about it. It is all around us. We are wrapped in it. It is us. Last time I saw you alive, we spoke of jewels and wine. We left out high-fashion spouses and money. It was too cheap even for us who kept silent for all these years. Did you forget it? Our terrible sinful secret that will make us burn in hell? The secret of a 6 and an 8-year-old, so sinful that it can blame all the children of the world yet to be born? I didn't. Only yesterday, before I heard you were leaving me, I remembered the touch of the secret, its body, and I wanted more of it. I craved lustfully to get the intimacy of that moment when we were alone. When we were girls, curly and free, you're black, I blonde, you're fat, I thin, you fallen, I a nun, and yet we did it. You wanted it, I did it. Between two girls, girlish, cheap stuff. Grown-ups look down on us with scorn. Oh yes, they have all done it before us, all those generation of girlfriends. But who cares? You were the first one for me, I was the first one for you. And that will stay forever now that we are the last ones too. It will last, it lasted, and it is last. I love you, dearest, and I'm letting you go. I will be coming soon, you know. I never told you about my body and its mortal secrets. It does not show because I'm still here with you, whom I have to see go. After you go, I will not have to be here anymore to see anybody off. I will be free of my own body. I know you want to stay, but I will not give you my life. But I'm giving you my tears and my words as usual. I'm the last one of us three, the 3 witches, and the oldest one, the guilty one. I promised you both life and jewels, besides being brave and beautiful. I wanted you to have it all, but I cheated you because I gave you only words, posthumously. And I'm here now to again armed with words to set you and then myself free. Just watch me. I'm writing it as a free person, free of you and me. Our secret will finally fly high and free. And you know what? No big deal. In few words, I loved you and you loved me more than any other girlfriends and forever. If that a secret can be. Berlin, June 2003, in front of the famous bust, Faces in Stupor. I was told by an Egyptian historian from Palestine, Nefertiti is the queen we know least about in history, and yet the queen we most adore, cherish, admire. Cleopatra is the opposite. The more you know of this woman, the less you cherish her. Perhaps the same is true for all things, beautiful, sublime, and mysterious. It works for love, but why for women? Because they're queens, because they're women, or both? Why for Nefertiti did she really exist? Was she really the one who came and then vanished, leaving not even a properly finished bust, but an artist's working model? In Berlin, where the stolen artwork persists in its abduction from the sacred Nile, one finds a phenomenon called Nefertiti's stupor. Tourists confronted by the bust turn to stone, their eyes wander and minds burn. Why is that so? Because they come from all over the world in order to feel that way? because they come from all over the world in order to feel that way. The beautiful one has only one eye to offer them, while the other is blind as love. We did our duty. We stirred our world from the underworld people had always inhabited, upside down by dark, not by light, devouring those elements which contaminated life. During the ceremony for your death, my lord, I was cast far out of your shadow, put aside from your dead throne. They never dared to mention I was still alive, your queen, your Pharaoh's wife, your love and glory, your soul and body, in the body that gave you pleasure and that gave you the bodies of your children. I have made them lead me to your eternal home. I sat beside your eternal bed, your sealed and golden coffin, and I made them seal me in. We are two gods alone now. Within that gold so chilly under my blind hands is the body once I touched with my hands, the divine body that made me lactate with a kiss and made my wound become wise in blood. Your body is now one huge glowing jewel, hard to touch and smell. It is cold and indestructible. My Pharaoh is gone. He's a god dwelling with gods. I have lost him to eternity, but eternity is kind to me at last. So your beauty has come, my lord, to serve you. I dared not choose any lesser tomb than this. One who has the wife of God can never become just a woman. In this royal crypt, in this stony dwelling, you and I have food, jewelry, servants of wood, boats, chariots, urns and perfume oil. We are a loving pair left alone, free to play all the sweet games we used to play, and free of all the evil games that ever sought to confuse and part us. Oh my beloved, oh my dearest, oh my last and only companion of this last path. I was your love and your queen. You were my lord and I was your concubine. You were life and I was your essence. You were my joy and now that joy is eternal. Only the bats answer my need for your touch. They flit and flap. They are your words, your messengers, your sign, a sign that my choice to join you here was true and beautiful. Nefertiti, my beloved friend, you are long gone, mere fragments of data in this stupid yet intelligent time. I, your distant artist, may have damaged your image, your highness, your holiness. Perhaps I lied about you, but from my thoughts and wanderings, I gave you a life I thought you perhaps deserved. There are common moments when all women are queens out of power. This was our story which has come to an end. The passage of time, that universal police raid, has parted us and set us within our separate cells. Two inmates serving time in our eternal presence until we hack some hole through the texture of eternity. Until we push our fingers, hands, kisses, words through that, creating that loving bond uniting women. May the love of my Nefertiti, that dream felt since my childhood, shield all that is good and worthy and starry in me. So let it be. again is March 17, 2015. And as I stood before the sun, my prayers to God, thanking God for the oneness, and thanking God for bringing us back together again. No more separation, no more loneliness and loss of life. I thank God for bringing back my love, my beloved, into my life, for myself and humanity. I thank God that the world sees now what I see, and I no longer live through this life with feeling all the pain myself, and that the world sees what I see and feels what I feel, and that we all come back together as one, and there's no more separation of any kind whatsoever. And it shall be no more sorrow, no more pain. And I cry for humanity right now, that you see yourselves for who you are, and you go deep within, and don't leave yourselves out anymore. No more separating of yourselves and seeing the color of skin, or what religion or race or creed or culture, sexual preferences, who you're with, who you're not with, how many children you have or don't have, who you choose to love. You love freely, you love openly, you come within and seek and seek your inner wisdom and strength. Look to God, look up to the sun, feel the moon and the stars, and see the stars as you continue to shine brightly, as I shine with all of you, and you all shine within me, and I shine to you, and you shine to me, and we shine to each other, and we keep remembering ourselves as the light source and the lamps unto each other's feet, and a connection to each other's hearts, beating as one. I love you. Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory, great things he has done. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory, great things he has done. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory, great things he has done. Praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory, great things we have done. We are the greatest love story that has ever been written. We are the ones that are looking to romance ourselves. We look to take each other out on dates, to feel what it is like to be loved. We long and yearn to hold each other, to hug one another, to embrace ourselves. We long to be wined and dined. We long to look into each other's eyes and to see what I see, to feel and to touch each other, caressing, kissing, holding hands, dancing the night away. We're under the moonlight. We're hanging by the cliff, lovers' leaps, lovers' lanes, the yearning, burning desire to be with each other, to not feel lonely ever again. We're together, in cars, in the bedrooms, walking the streets, yearning for this romance of ourselves. We're looking and looking and looking and searching and feeling and yearning and desiring, this burning desire to connect to the love of ourselves in our lives. We're looking for a true love. We're looking for our true selves. We don't choose to have a false self to embrace. We don't choose to feel fake in our relationships with ourselves. We want to feel one with ourselves. Feel like we belong somewhere and belong to someone. We yearn to create love and to make love with all of ourselves. Like a weave, a tapestry, a canvas, intertwining with each other. Our sexual energies bring us together and we feel alive again. We feel that joy because we've connected again, becoming as one. We don't feel separated anymore. We don't walk by and see ourselves as if we don't see each other blindly. All we see and feel is love again, because love has returned back to our hearts. We don't kill ourselves anymore and look at ourselves with hate. We don't look at each other as aliens no longer and feeling separate and criticizing and judging ourselves. Because as I see you, I see beauty and I see love as I see myself. As I look to you, I see you, you see me, and we see each other. We don't walk by and act like we don't notice myself and yourself, because we're one. I see me walking old on the street. I see myself young. I see myself as a child. I see myself as the adult. I see myself as the lonely. And I see myself as the loved and beloved. I feel, you feel, we all feel. I see, you see, we all see. I understand, and you understand. We all understand. We're not separate. We're all one. I often wondered, and I didn't notice how I put in almost any name, I still put my name, Sharon, and I didn't realize I put one love. One love in almost every name of social media. One love, Sharon, or one love, the numbers 888-333. Not realizing how much I longed and desired to feel one with everyone in life. Bringing life back together to that which is dead. You all walk around so dead inside of each other. Dead. It's as dead as a doornail. You have no life inside of you. As I tune in even right now, everyone is just so dead. Death becomes all of you. Death becomes her. How ironic. I may look like a symbol or iconic symbol from then and now, but don't you see the beauty of what is described as me? You look to me for the beauty, but you're still not looking within yourselves and see the beauty within yourselves. You keep looking and searching outside, and you're still not looking and seeking the beauty within you. You're not looking and seeing and feeling the joy that you're missing. The love which you seek is right there, just one heartbeat away. Just one heartbeat away. Let go and allow your hearts to open up to that which is the truth. what is natural for you. You are creative beings. You're only a thought away from experiencing true love. One thought, one mind, one body, one soul. You're all blessed and loved by God. Mother Goddess is wrapping her arms around you and embracing you. And you shall see the flowers bloom brighter. Truer than true is how you shall see them. The trees will no longer be giving you any feelings of allergies, being allergic to them, because you're one with them now. There shall be no feelings of discomfort any longer. More birds and species of all kinds that you've never seen before shall return. They were afraid. They didn't feel loved either. But now we're one with all new things, new beginnings. We're understanding each other. We're not jumping to any conclusions anymore and criticizing. Remember, one for all and all for one. That's what we're up to here. Humpty Dumpty's putting ourselves back together again. What a joy, what a joy, what a joy. What a world. What a universe. Keep painting. Keep painting on these canvases of yours. And don't forget to love.
My love of despair, to be loved, to be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved. Yeah. Someone to kiss, someone to miss when you're away, to hear from each day, to be loved, to be loved. Whoa, what a feeling to be loved. Whoa, some wish to be a king or a queen. Some wish for fortune and fame, but to be truly, truly, truly loved, well, it's more than any one of those things. Oh, someone to kiss, someone to miss when you're away, to hear from each day, to be loved, to be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved. Oh, but to be truly loved, baby, there's more than one of these things. Someone to miss, oh, someone to kiss when you're away, to hear from each day, to be loved, to be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved, to be loved, to be loved, to be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved.
Know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wander far from me, I wanna feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn, 'cause we're living
There's a light, certain kind of light that never shone on me. I want my life to be lived with you, lived with you. There's a way, everybody say, to do each and every little thing. But what does it bring if I ain't got you? If I ain't got you, baby, you don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like to love somebody, to love somebody the way I love you. In my brain, I see your face again, and I know my frame of mind. You ain't gotta be so blind, and I'm blind. Yeah, I'm blind. I'm a man. I'm a man. Can't you see what I am? And I live and breathe for you. Oh, but what does it do if I ain't got you? If I ain't got you. If I ain't got you. If I ain't got you. You don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like to love somebody, to love somebody the way I love you. Oh, baby, you don't know what it's like. Yeah, you don't know what it's like. Yeah, you don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like to love somebody, to love somebody the way I love you, to love somebody, love somebody the way I love you.
Many guys have come to you with a line that wasn't true, and you passed them by. Though you're in the ring, and their lines don't mean a thing, why don't you let me try? Now I don't wear a diamond ring. I don't even know a song to sing. All I know is la 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 la. I love you. Oh, baby, please now. La 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 la. I love you. If I ever saw a girl that I needed in this world, you are the one for me. One for me. Let me hold you in my arms, girl, and fill you with my charms. I'm sure you will see. You will see. The things I am saying are true, and the way I explain them to you. Never
just like a dream to me that somehow came true. And I know tomorrow will still be the same, 'cause we've got a life of love that won't ever change. And every day, love me your own.
last, we have returned. We have returned as I go to the heart center of the man who is to release the monies, because I've gotten through to his heart center. He understands now. His heart is not hardened. I got the books that trace back in our time to who I am. The first book I opened up was Amarna, Sunrise, Egypt from Golden Age to Age of Heresy, by the author of Amarna Sunset, Aidan Dotson. The second book, with my picture in the light of Amarna, 100 Years of the Nefertiti Discovery. And the third book, alas, the one that brings us together, as I prayed. I had no knowledge that the book was here. I prayed, and it says, the city of Akhenaten and Nefertiti, Amarna, and its people. At last, love has returned to all of us. From the beginning, it has returned. My beloved is now in my arms. Tanda shete to be shake and tan chicken to get the copane. Tanda tam show comata de shake the kepe setoba. Shaking mama tan shake de tepe. Say to so be the tea leader. To make as in a market and take chocolate. Tande the wakatan shakom take tonga tan dish it on me. Tanda shani me no mark and tan de doda. Tanda to be this city soon be to bark or the wa. Bang never do make them bar tande de bar. Sana te tu shimi de on me handi kom tang she don't bakanda putush bada. Tama de wap to cheat but they say pandere big mark and in that. Say the wakatin tish go make thing back to show make tam back on minuma. Tana de bidu ba that's a bidu be set shiri kumata to make it badabe. Sono makasi no ma tandere usciti bidu me in the mura passiti ko shepete tambara to bere. Tace de biku sita ambata ta sokon te kamba tushke petochebe de bibo tabarate che de bibishi ma tata tishirikitero ahwa. My beloved tumba tatanto shuro pakada inwa. Together at last shikite de dusheme no ma nane no ma de tome de kumada. Yes, I love you. Tuma, no more separation shall exist between us. We are together at last. At last. At last. My love has returned. At last. And my lonely days are over, as we've returned at last. My heart is wrapped up in heaven, for you are mine at last. We shall not be separated no longer. As here we are in heaven, you are mine, you're ours at last, always and forever. These moments with you, I always knew you were mine at last. We are together again, all of us. Our hearts are now open. Love is a many splendid thing. It opens all things. The heart opens all things. It receives, and it gives, and it receives, and it gives. We're all hugging and wrapping ourselves around each other's arms, as I am with you now. I love you, my beloved, always and forever. I've never stopped loving you. I've always loved you. I've been looking for you for so long. So many centuries of looking for you. You found me before I knew that you were looking too. Our hearts beat as one. There has been no death that has been a sting upon us. No death nor nothing shall separate us from our love and the love of God. Nothing, no space, no time, no suffering, nothing. Love puffeth not itself, vaunteth not itself, believeth all things, beareth all things, endureth all things. And the greatest love of all is us. It has always been us. It will always be us. Because we are one. We'll always be one, and I'm one with you. Saying do bakaside kiniki no mamata chete to shake de bidoba. Enite tisi no makate de kisire ke do bidu konta tanga diriki boa. Anaki indi gubi say takaneki do ba sereke te bidobe. I need the digiti you do kanda do me kanda ko shake de bide kon bakan ki kon de ki kon de ki kon kandi de ushin tankan te shike de ki ba ta ta kanda ki te chitu ba kanda shire ki do ba ba manda de ki no ma Nidu bidi dici do bikite in baba de giduba. I need the dishin da can la cadija go barricade in the keroba. Han the bit of tanta barakashiri, a bandagi bidoba. I need to hand hate home taking a baka zero. I see you, communicate to Shumba that the Diju Barambanda, and I feel you, Kanaba de Gido. I need Kisoma Tachi Gilbe. As you're open, Sukuma, Nakatishatumba, to receive my love again. And it shall not be separate from you again. That is my love song for you. I abandon you and my children for the love of mankind, to protect us from what you all couldn't see. I wanted to see it for all of you. My heart was broken. I had to leave my family, my children, my husband, for us, to protect us. Protect us from who, you say? From ourselves. Because we destroy ourselves. Mankind has destroyed every living thing that has ever existed. And death is what has always been the sting. That death has even remained within the death of ourselves. If I had stayed, you would have destroyed me and destroyed the truth. And we would not know where to begin. So therefore the beginning had to leave. In order for you to find yourselves, for me to find myself. For I came and I left as immortal to be immortal, for the love of mankind and the universe. How soon we forget. And all the destruction and the woes of the world began. And we continue to spiral into forgetting, and more forgetting, and more forgetting. And we keep looking to objects and things of the physical world for answers. And yet we were not looking at ourselves for the answers. And then we looked at ourselves outside of ourselves and not within ourselves. And we got caught up in this matrix. And the lies and the deceit began. And we spiraled even denser to this physical reality of an illusion in what we think we perceive, and what we perceive we become. So we created more illusions within the illusions, and then became a web of more lies and delusions and madness and craziness and horror and pain and suffering. So much suffering. Sufferings. And you lived with this pain for so long that it became normal. We cycled in and out of this pain now. Century after century, lifetime after lifetime. And still I was there, hidden among the lies. And the truth was right there in front of you. And you still did not see it. You did not feel it. You choose to look away from me and yourselves. You still don't see me, do you? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you feel me? Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you truly understand? Do you see who you are? Do you see yourselves?